So today I asked, what is the ego? Kind of because I stopped using Google, I'm using DuckDuckGo, and it feels a lot like the old internet. A beacon of information, a means to connect, the whole original point of the shit. Also, I like philosophy and I like to learn and share, and I don't know a lot about philosophy. And it's kind of one of those things where you never really know enough, which is kind of awesome. Um, also, I was reading American Psycho, and it made me think of this. So, the id, ego, and superego, according to simplypsychology.org, are original ideas made by Sigmund Freud and kind of shape our comprehension of modern psychology today, specifically how unconscious motives shape the way that we operate, and how we subconsciously hold on to certain experiences from our childhood that impact us in our adulthood. So the id is instinctual. It's pleasure seeking, about the part of your mind that seeks instant gratification. And then your ego is the thing that balances those impulses with reason, rationale, acknowledgement of real world limitations when it comes down to that. And the superego is your moral conscience, which represents your societal norms, kind of similar to if you know anything about stoicism. And what Marcus Aurelius talks about when it comes down to when it comes down to, you see, I figured it out, the process by which one introspects and reevaluates their own actions and thought processes against their own moral standards. I guess you could call the superego something akin to that. And the reason why American Psycho made me think about that, it was just what we would call something that Patrick Bateman has. We would call it an ego, or narcissism, or things like that. And I kind of wanted to unpack that. So I argue within the lens of American Psycho, what makes Patrick Bateman deeply mentally ill is the fact that these things are completely out of balance. The id rules much of his actions, and his rational mediator is not present for the most part. At most, he compares his actions to the societal standards that are completely shallow and hedonistic in nature. So again, is it not just the id ruling? Anyways, that was it. Okay, and another thing, right? I think about Patrick Bateman's superego, I kind of became going to contradict myself a little bit. I think his moral conscience is organized by the idea of himself as a supreme being or an inhuman being, right? And whenever that's contradicted through his humiliations or social failings, he circumvents that through violent sexual fantasy in order to once again protect his ego, right? And I doubt I'm saying anything unique or salient, but I don't know, I want to connect the dots. Maybe nobody else connected the dots before or thought about it through this lens, which is pretty cool. Or maybe they did think about it that way, which also even cooler.